welcome. I don't have an intro, but I've participated in Simply Savannah's Respect the Reptile contest. If you don't know, Simply Savannah, you probably know her, but if you haven't noticed, she does do a lot of contests, and recently there's been a contest where you were to build a habitat for any reptile in the game, and oh my god, yeah, I did that. And even cooler, I actually got in 4th place on this contest, which I'm obviously very excited about. And also, the person that I actually voted for, that I thought had the coolest, thing, actually won. So this is a very pleasing outcome for me overall. I did participate in one of her contests before, which was like the spooky Halloweeny kind of contest where I did like a horror game basically in Planet Zoo. So that would have been in October around that time. So that is that, and it's actually really cool to see someone tour your stuff, so I definitely want to get to that point with some of my other zoos, because that would be really cool to see that more often, I guess. But yeah, I'm really excited for this, and so she has posted her video, so I actually really hope that this is okay that I'm posting this now, because obviously you can't post anything of your process before she has, because it's her contest, and I hope that this is fine, because I know that she usually also does a live stream where she shows everything off, so yeah, I just hope that this is fine. But yeah, so we're actually building a motel, and yes, I've recently decided that Planet Zoo is over and that that it's dead. We are playing Planet Motel, because this is the 2nd motel that I'm building in a month. So I did recently recreate Trixie Motel from a TV series, and I just wanted to do that because it's so bright and pink, but I also knew already, like, it was like kind of simultaneously building those two, so I was looking at a lot of motels in that time span, but that's what I wanted to do. And for some reason, I also right away knew what I wanted to do for the contest when I read, like anything reptilian. I think that my favorite reptilian in the game is probably the American alligator, and so I just wanted to do like swampy, like Floridian swamp, and kind of like, because I love making stuff that is like abandoned and broken, and all that stuff is so much fun to me, that this was just like, this came very natural to me. And it's kind of funny though that in the other contest of Savannah's that I've partaken in, I've also done an abandoned thing just in a wooden, like, mystical foresty kind of thing, but it was basically also abandoned. And so I don't know why that always comes to mind when I do this kind of stuff, but I also wish, not really, I'm happy with what I built here, but I'm so excited to build for the Asian water monitor, so that is something I really want to do, and that probably would have also been cool to use for this contest, but it's one more video. By the way, talking about one more video, we have to split this up into interior and exterior, so in this video, as you can tell, we're also only doing the exterior, and we're gonna do the interior in another video, which also comes in handy because that is something that I forgot to tell you for the past 2 videos actually. I'm not sure that I will hit all the upload dates, the usual upload dates in the near future, like probably next 2 to 3 weeks. So you might see some shorter videos, some smaller things, or some missed upload dates, so just so you know, that could happen. And so this is actually, when I realized that I could split this up into 2 videos, that was actually like, oh, well, one more upload date saved, so we will split that in 2. We're also going to do the real-time part, actually, this time, when we actually do the interior. It will be the next video on the channel, so don't you worry. I also have 2 others pre-recorded, and then I hope that I will get some time in between, because we're very, very understaffed at work right now, so there's a good chance that I will work so much and I'll be so tired, and the little time that I still have, I'll have to use for uni stuff. So it could happen that not everything comes out, but that's what the community tab is for, so you will know. But I just wanted to mention it beforehand, so it doesn't come out of the blue when I have to say, okay, no video today. But yeah, so the next video is going to be the interior, and that is that. Okay, so we are building the swamp. I kind of like it whenever I get to use water that is not like blue and see-through, because that is kind of my usual. And especially in my cold climate zoo, I tend to have like this like icy blue cold water. You know, I know that cold water isn't more blue, but for the feeling I make it more blue. But so I kind of like that I got to actually use this like greenish brown swampy looking water. And also the foliage work was very much fun because it was so out of what I usually do. So this is not really foliage that I would use in any of my regular series, but that's the fun of doing these like one-off builds, which I'm doing quite a lot of. But it's really much fun for me to break from, you know, bigger projects and just do fun little one-timey things. And you can see me kind of struggling around with the foliage there, and most of this will be changed later on, just so you know, but this will be very much like big high old trees towering over once we're finished, but that's just not gonna happen in the next few minutes. I'm just kind of like winging it there, like trying stuff and seeing what works. But yeah, overall very overgrown. Not very nice to traverse for the alligators, by the way, so they can't really use a lot, but they can actually swim right by this like deck area, which is ideal because that's where I want them to swim so that you can see them from the motel. And yeah, okay, so now you can actually see the bigger trees coming in. They do have a certain name, I forgot, but okay, I guess I didn't place them yet, but I did try them. So I will go back to them in a few seconds probably, and actually place them in the video. But those willow trees are actually so beautiful. I quite like them. They don't have a shade of green that usually fits me, right? So I want to use them, but I don't like their shade of green. But they are so beautiful at creating, like, how do I say? It kind of interrupts your line of view when there's like leaves hanging out in front of your camera, if that makes sense. So that I really like about the willow trees, and I wish I would use them more, but like I said, I don't really like the green tone as much, but it worked for here. It did kind of bother me. I wish it was more yellowishy green as well, like the other greens that I use. Like, I think I talked about this before, that some of the plants have more of a bluish tint and some have more of a yellow tint in their green. So that is kind of bothering me a lot. I guess it's natural, but it does kind of bother me because in real life plants don't ever look like they don't belong together, but in the Planet Zoo it kind of does, and so I don't know. But it's not a big deal. It's just a me thing, I guess. But yeah, so that's me with the willow trees. I did use a lot of Twilight Pack for the wooden frames around everything, like framing the doors, framing the lowest part of the wall kind of thing. So for that, actually the Twilight Pack really, I liked it right away. It right away became one of my favorite packs, but the wooden pieces in this pack were so good, like so essential to build with. I also like the painted wood from the base game, from the Asian set. I use that all the time because to me because it's so brightly colored, it also kind of looks like rubber. So I use this for like framing windows and stuff a lot. But yeah, the wooden thing, when I want something that actually looks like wood, I use the recolorable wood pieces from the Twilight Pack. And the other thing that I really used a lot here is the Arctic Pack, and even Savannah in her video said that the Arctic Pack really works well for like abandoned builds or, you know, like kind of broken looking stuff. And it is so true. Like, it's one of my favorite things to use in this kind of context. And I did use a lot of Arctic pieces in the other one that I did for her other contest for the Halloween build. I also used a lot of Arctic pieces. And yeah, I don't know. They just really work. It's this very, it looks almost like sun bleached, which is funny. because it's supposed to be, well, there's sun in the Arctic as well. I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, so these stairs I was kind of afraid to build, I have to admit. I kind of thought, oh, this is gonna be so hard and so tricky, but it actually wasn't. I just didn't allow myself to ever rotate anything that wasn't on a straight axis, so that really helped. And so yeah, the stairs weren't that hard to build so I was surprised positively that this wasn't a big deal to build, but yeah, you know, custom stairs it's one of those things that you do if it looks good but you don't want to do. So yeah, I don't think I'll continue to build a lot of custom stairs, but I had to for here because I was not using any paths here. I was just using, you know, pieces, and also I wanted the stairs to not be solid but to kind of be see-through, so that, you know, you're kind of scared you're gonna slip and fall into the swamp. I don't like these type of stairs. It's not that I'm scared of them, I'm just always like, don't drop your phone, don't drop your phone, don't drop your phone, don't drop your phone, don't drop your phone. So I don't like walking over these kind of stairs. But fun fact, the house that I grew up in, we had this, it was actually really cool. It was probably very unprofessionally built, but it had this very cool feature where there was like, so our living room and the next room over were kind of not on the next level of the house, but it was like kind of halfway. Like the rest of the flat was kind of like probably like 1.5 meters higher than the first part. So we had these like really cool like floating stairs just in the middle of the living room going up to the next room. It looked really cool, almost like loft, but it wasn't open, so you would just like walk up the stairs and then open the door. But I guess that was very unprofessional to do, but actually pretty cool. It was a pretty old house. I think if it was built in a more modern way, that would have been pretty cool. But I don't know, it was like old wood and it just didn't look fine with each other. I guess it was like done in the... no, it wasn't done in the 90s. That doesn't make sense. The house was over 100 years old. I think the stairs, though, were done in the 90s, or the wood paneling or anything, because it had this typical gross wood look. Maybe it's not gross to some people. I never liked it. This like sort of reddish, sort of what's it called? Light wood tone. Never liked it. I might put a picture on that here, honestly, so maybe some people are like, what are you talking about? But okay, back to the build. You can actually see probably right in a few seconds that I'm changing my mind on some of the foliage there. I did get rid of the big Arctic, big aquatic plants that are there. I actually quite like them, but they are a menace to traversable area. They do not want to be there. Nobody wants to be around them, so they are really, really bad. I also remember in the reptile house, the old-timey reptile house, I had to delete them because the animals literally wouldn't unbox because it was very small as it is, and then I put these plants and they basically took up the entire habitat. So yeah, they are my number one request for changing the traversable area because they are horrible. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's this like big leaved plant that comes from the aquatic pack that I did use here, and I think I'll get rid of within this clip, or maybe I cut out the part where I got rid of it. But you will also see in this actual part of the footage that more and more I did place these like tall they're not from the aquatic pack, but they are, I guess, from swamps or wetlands or something like that. I did look up the name and I forgot it. I knew that I was going to talk about these trees, but I forgot. So now you can see me build a custom window, which I want to do more. Because, okay, so Caesar Creates always does custom windows, and I'm always like, I could be doing that, but I never do. For no reason. So, I actually want to do that more. So, we also, when we come to the next video where we do interior, we also see that I actually did like shutters from the inside. These like kind of office style things that, you know, turn, and then when they're turned one way, the light floods in, and when it turned the other way, it's closed. You know, that kind. So I did that. Oh, I guess, okay, I guess you can, no, that wasn't that. So, I guess a little glimpse into the interior here. I did do flower pots, and I did kind of, make one that was, you know, fallen over, which I like to do these little things. I like these little, like, glimpses of having been used, I guess. So I really like including this when it comes to my mind. I don't, you know, actively think about them, but they just come to mind. Sometimes I'm like, oh, well, something would be knocked over, and so if there's something that I can easily make that would be knocked over, then I include that. And then in this part, you see me actually, you know, aging the concrete, because these big concrete slabs, they never look used to me. They always look like freshly paved concrete, so sort of like on the edges, lining them with like grass, and then also obviously the Europe decals have been a blessing for that. To kind of make it more weathered. Also, I did something that I think I've seen, I don't know who did it though, someone on YouTube did this thing where like there was like markings on the ground, like street things, like you can see me do right now, these lines that tell you where the parking lot is. To cover them up with decals that have the same color as the concrete that they're on makes them look so much more realistic. I was blessed with this tip. I wish I remembered who did it. I guess a lot of people do it, but I saw someone do it and thought, oh god, that's brilliant. Yeah, it might have been Leaf actually, now that I think of it. Yeah, I'll see. Maybe I'll remember. But so now we're doing the roof. I kind of tried to cut this video because it was very long. I think with interior together, it took me almost 7 hours to build. So I did have to cut out a lot. So I only did do sort of like, I guess, relevant parts to it. But yeah, so we're also building a roof using the absolute most amazing ever been brought to the game roof pieces from the Twilight pack, which they are such a blessing. I guess I don't think I've ever used another roof since then. No, that's not true. I also like the FlexiColor kind of Asian inspired roof that comes from the base game. So I guess I'm saying that so often, but I mean, you all know I love the base game. I have an entire series that is just the base game. But I think my favorite pack, not my favorite pack, but in terms of building, no, that would still be Europe, but Twilight is close. Actually, I do want to do one of those tier videos once the new pack is there. I wanted to do it, but then I knew that the new pack was going to be there so soon, so I kind of wanted to wait for this to be out to include it in my tier list, but that already kind of gave you a glimpse into it. But so now we're building a little bit of an outhouse, and I wish Savannah would have seen the little heart thingy on it, because I think that's like the universal sign for a toilet, like an outside toilet. So that was kind of funny, and I understand. To her it looked like a shed because she looked at it from the side and probably didn't see the heart, but it's supposed to be kind of a toilet, and then when you go out the wrong way, then you're in the swamp with the alligators. Yeah, I don't know, I thought it was funny. And it also covered up the staff gate, which I didn't want visible because that didn't really make much sense. Like, why would you go into the swamps? But yeah, so that was fun. And again, I'm using Twilight pieces for that and the European shutters. So really just manifesting what I just said about the packs. Europe and Twilight, so helpful for building. And yeah, I think no, we're not that close to be done. Yeah, I really tried, because I did, Pearly J commented in one of the later videos that it'd be nice if I talked about more what I was doing and what my thoughts were. So I'm trying this. I'm trying really, really hard to go back to the video all the time. You know, I love to ramble, and you know, I'm not the most structured thinker, but I understand that is probably the interesting part for you guys. So I really try to talk more about what I'm actually doing and about the game and about my thoughts behind my buildings, because obviously I do have thoughts. I have a hard time remembering like what could be interesting to people and like what is very obvious. So yeah, I think I try. But yeah, I wanted this little house there, but then I had this idea with actually, you know, making it so that, you know, going out the wrong way from the outhouse would cause you to end up in the swamp. So that's when when I moved it. I wanted to do it differently at first, but that's when I moved it. And I'm so in love lately with putting hinges on everything. Like the hinge piece from the Europe pack is kind of one of my favorites lately. And I mean, I liked it right away. I thought right away that, yeah, we needed that. But actually, I've not used it as much as I should have, because, you know, we are always building doors. And this is one thing I actually forgot I did. Oh, I don't know what happened. Okay, so that was a very short clip, but something that I actually forgot I did was putting the little pictures of bats up in the sky, so it looked like bats were flying above it. I have no idea if bats live in the swamp. Okay, let me be. But I just thought it looked cool to have something in the air there. And yeah, putting some of the decals on the water, which is also something I quite like to do. I think it looks like it makes the water look a bit more like dirty and gooey, and you know, like stuff is growing on it, and also a bit polluted. So that's something I really like to do, and I did. But yeah, so the Europe decals overall very, very helpful. And we're building this little bridge-ish thing, I guess. I don't know what you would technically call these. I saw them on a lot of pictures that I looked at of swamps, so I thought, you know, we need that. And I included that. But it was kind of, you know, like Savannah walked down them and was like, oh, is there something on the other side? And I totally didn't even think that there could be. I absolutely didn't pay mind to the fact that this looks like it would lead somewhere, and it doesn't. So I could have probably at least put a boat or something on the other side of this, but yeah, I didn't. But I still like how it looks. I think, especially from like a lower angle, it looks really cool with this like grass growing through it almost. And I think I didn't record it, but I sort of made one of them a bit broken, like one of the pieces are off, you know. And I totally had to cut off my rambling there because I noticed that the video was almost over. So thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you around in the next part of this, where we're going to do the interior and the actual real-time part tour. In the meanwhile, you can also watch Savannah's tour, which I will also link. So thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you around another time. Bye!